Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for this WNCT Now digital news update. I'm Emily Severage, live in our digital studio. Today, we remember the lives of those who were lost and sacrificed their own lives in the terrorist attack of 2001. People across the country are giving their respects and paying tribute to the people who are no longer with us. Over 2,900 civilians, 343 firefighters, and 71 police officers lost their lives during the tragedy of 9/11, sacrificing themselves for others. Members of the White House staff met today on the front lawn for an observance. President Donald Trump gave some words today in rural Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the site where Flight 93 was hijacked and later crashed into a field, killing all 40 passengers on board. Here's what Trump had to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, David, very much. It's a great honor to be with you. 19 years ago on this day, at this very hour on this field, 40 brave men and women triumphed over terror and gave their lives in defense of our nation. Their names and their stories are forever inscribed on the eternal roll call of American heroes. Today we pay tribute to their sacrifice, and we mourn deeply for the nearly 3,000 precious and beautiful souls who were taken from us on September 11th, 2001. To the family members of Flight 93, today every heartbeat in America is wedded to yours. Your pain and anguish is the shared grief of our whole nation. The memory of your treasured loved ones will inspire America for all time to come. The heroes of Flight 93 are an everlasting reminder that no matter the danger, no matter the threat, no matter the odds, America will always rise up, stand tall, and fight back. To every 9/11 member all across this nation, the First Lady and I come to this hallowed ground, deeply aware that we cannot fill the void in your heart or erase the terrible sorrow of this day, the agony renewed, the nightmare relived, the wounds reopened, the last treasured words played over and over again in your minds. But while we cannot erase your pain, we can help to shoulder your burden. We promise that unwavering love that you so want and need, support, devotion, and the very special devotion of all Americans. On that September morning when America was under attack, the battle turned in the skies above this field. Soon after taking off from Newark, New Jersey, radical Islamic terrorists seized control of United 93. Other hijacked planes struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center, and then the South Tower, and then the Pentagon. The terrorists on Flight 93 had a fourth target in mind. It was called our nation's capital. They were just 20 minutes away from reaching their sinister objective. The only thing that stood between the enemy and a deadly strike at the heart of American democracy was the courage and resolve of 40 men and women, the amazing passengers and crew of Flight 93. Donald and Jean Peterson were grandparents traveling to vacation in California. Diora Bodley was a student headed back to college. Richard Wardagdo was returning from celebrating his grandmother's 100th birthday. Lauren Katosi Grancolis was 3 months pregnant with her first child. Every passenger and crew member on the plane had a life filled with love and joy, friends and family, radiant hopes, and limitless dreams. When the plane was hijacked, they called their families and learned that America was also under attack. Then they faced the most fateful moment of their lives. Through the heartache and the tears, they prayed to God. They placed their last calls home. They whispered the immortal words, "I love you." Today those words ring out across these sacred grounds, and they shine down on us from heaven above. When terrorists raced to destroy the seat of our democracy, the 40 of Flight 93 did the most American of things. They took a vote, and then they acted. Together they charged the cockpit. They confronted the pure evil, and in their last act on this earth, they saved our capital. In this Pennsylvania field, the 40 intrepid souls of Flight 93 died as true heroes. Their momentous deed.
Due to the pandemic, many people may not be able to attend in-person memorials. You can feel free to watch live-streamed national memorial events and local stories at WNCT.com as we continue to remember those on 9/11. A scam we talked about last week out of New Bern is now making headlines here in Greenville. The Greenville Police Department has issued a warning after receiving numerous reports about scammers claiming to be police officers. New Bern PD had the same issue just a few weeks ago. Scammers are claiming to be officers with an arrest warrant for the person they are calling, saying they must send money or a prepaid gift card in order to avoid arrest. Greenville PD and New Bern PD want to remind members of the community that police officers and police departments will never contact anyone and request payment to avoid arrest. If someone contacts you claiming this scam, please contact your local law enforcement and never send anyone money that you haven't already met in person. Stay with us and we'll be right back with some more news after this short break.
WNCT.com, your one stop for local news and weather from across the East, with special features like online originals and our live stream WNCT Now. Visit WNCT.com for details not in the newscast.
Thanks so much for joining me. If you're just tuning in, I'm Emily Severidge, live in our digital studio, providing you with some late afternoon updates. WNCT is providing you with live streamed updates every Monday through Friday at 1:30 p.m. and 4 o'clock p.m. to bring you the latest up-to-date news before our nightly newscast. North Carolina East Sports has announced the return of the Crystal Coast Grand Prix. The two-day event in Morehead City begins Saturday the 12th and goes until Sunday the 13th. The first race begins at noon tomorrow, and activities and festivities will be available all weekend. Social distancing guidelines will still be in place, and spectators for the race will be asked to watch from personal properties, public property, and from waterfront restaurants, making sure to keep those 6 feet guidelines in place. Now on your sides, Kelsey O'Donnell will be live in Morehead City tonight at 5 o'clock to show us how the event is shaping up. Unsure about voting options in your state or when early voting begins? The Associated Press has created a state-by-state election guide that breaks down your election options. Election Day is only 2 months away, and mail-in ballots for North Carolinians are being mailed out this week. To find out more about your voting options and making sure your voice is heard and your vote is counted, check out WNCT.com and look for interactive state-by-state look at mail-in early voting options. Well, that wraps up this WNCT Now digital news update. We have more news coming up for you tonight on our broadcast at 5 and 6. Thank you so much for watching.